Breaking, United States stealth jet hits fortified target near Venezuelan city.
At 2:42 a.m. local time, a single F-35A Lightning II cuts through the dark sky over northern South America. It is flying high, just under 500 miles per hour, with its lights off and radio silent. There is no formation and no escort. This aircraft is alone. Below, the city of Maracay is quiet. Apartment buildings are dark. Streets are empty. People are asleep. Nothing on the ground suggests that anything unusual is happening. But in the air, a countdown is already running. Inside the cockpit, the pilot watches the distance close. 50 miles to the target, then 40. Systems are green. Weapons are armed. Every number matters now. This is not a routine flight and not a training run. This is a real mission deep inside defended airspace. The confrontation is clear. This is the United States versus Venezuela. The jet does not turn away. It continues straight ahead toward a hardened military site placed close to civilian homes. On the ground, defenders expect their radars to see everything. They believe they have time to react. They do not know that the most dangerous moment has already passed. If you want to follow this confrontation as it unfolds, stay with us and subscribe for the next update. To understand why this moment matters, you have to understand where it happened. The strike was aimed near Maracay, a city tied directly to Venezuela's military backbone. This area supports air bases, logistics routes, and command facilities that help control large parts of the country's airspace. It is not a random location, it is a pressure point. According to United States officials, the target was a hardened underground storage site believed to hold advanced air defense equipment, including key components linked to the S-300 PMU-2 network. If fully deployed, those systems could track and threaten aircraft hundreds of miles away, changing the balance of power in the region. From a strategic view, striking early removes a future risk before it becomes active. But the location changed the stakes. The facility was placed close to apartment buildings where families live. That choice forced planners to weigh military advantage against civilian danger. This was not about destroying everything. It was about hitting one specific point with as little spillover as possible. For the people living nearby, this was never a military debate. They were asleep in their homes, trusting that the war would stay somewhere else. For the pilot, this was more than a technical task. One small mistake could send shockwaves through an entire neighborhood. This is what modern conflict looks like. Targets are precise, weapons are smaller, but the line between military and civilian space is thin, and once crossed, it cannot be erased. The strike was not meant to start a war. It was meant to send a message. Whether that message prevents future danger or creates a new one is the question now facing both sides. At just under 50 miles from the target, the aircraft's sensors take full control. On the main display, the darkness below transforms into a clear infrared image. Roads appear as thin lines of heat. Rooftops glow faintly. Power stations, parked vehicles, even warm concrete stand out. The city looks calm, almost frozen in sleep. Nothing on the screen suggests danger, and that is what makes the moment so tense. Inside the cockpit, the pilot does not rush. He breathes slowly and checks the numbers again. Altitude steady. Speed holding just below 500 miles per hour. Fuel flow exactly on plan. No warning tones. No unexpected signals. This is the phase where discipline matters more than instinct. One rushed move could undo everything. The target area sharpens as the sensor zooms in. A hardened structure sits beneath faded camouflage paint, built tight against the edge of civilian housing. Apartment blocks are visible nearby, dark and silent. Guard towers stand unmoving. There is no visible reaction on the ground. No lights switch on. No vehicles move. Venezuela's air defenses still believe the sky above them is empty. The pilot selects the weapon. A GBU-39 precision bomb is armed inside the internal bay. It is not chosen for raw power, but for control. The intention is not to flatten the area, but to hit one exact point and stop there. The system runs its final checks. Guidance is aligned. Release conditions are met. The weapon bay doors open for only a few seconds. Air noise rises slightly. The aiming symbol settles on the designated point and locks in place. Predicted impact error is measured in feet, not yards. The pilot pauses for half a second longer, fully aware of what sits just beyond that aim point. Then his thumb presses down. The bomb drops cleanly and disappears into the dark. Almost instantly, the aircraft responds. The pilot banks away from the city, turning north and reducing exposure time. The bay doors close. Emissions drop to minimum. Within moments, the jet blends back into the night as if it was never there. Below, nothing reacts. No radar spikes, no alert sirens, no interceptor launches. The first response has already happened, and the people responsible for defending this airspace do not know it yet. This is the moment the balance shifts. One side has acted with precision. The other is still waiting for a warning that will never come. For several seconds after the release, the night remains unchanged. The city below continues sleeping. No alarms sound, no lights switch on. From the ground, nothing suggests that an attack has already begun. This silence is not calm. It is the pause before impact. The bomb glides in, adjusting its path again and again. Wind shifts slightly. Air density changes. The guidance system corrects without hesitation. There is no human hand guiding it now. Everything depends on numbers locked in minutes earlier. 5 seconds before impact, there is still no reaction on the ground. Guards remain in their towers. Vehicles stay parked. Radar operators continue routine sweeps, unaware that the threat is already beneath their detection range. Then the strike hits underground. The first blast is not loud across the city. It is deep. The force moves through reinforced concrete and steel before it escapes. A split second later, the ground lifts. The pressure finds weak points and pushes outward instead of straight up. Windows shatter across nearby buildings almost at once. Car alarms trigger in waves. Walls crack. Doors burst open inside apartments where people are jolted awake in confusion and fear. Some think it is an earthquake. Others think it is an accident. No one thinks it is an airstrike because no aircraft was seen or heard. A fireball rises briefly above the site, lighting the sky orange. Then darkness rushes back in. Smoke follows, thick and fast. Pieces of concrete fall back to the ground like heavy rain. Emergency calls begin flooding in within seconds. Dispatchers hear shouting, crying, broken sentences. Reports come from different blocks at the same time. Injuries, fires, collapsed walls. The scale is unclear, but the damage is spreading. Fire crews and ambulances move out quickly. Lights flashing through narrow streets. They are heading toward a site that, minutes earlier, most of them did not even know existed. As they approach, the smell of burning fuel fills the air. Above it all, the sky remains empty. There are still no radar contacts, no tracks to follow, no clear explanation. Venezuela's air defense network is active, but blind. Operators search for something to respond to, but the attack has already passed. This is escalation without warning. No exchange of fire, no chase, no second chance to stop it. The action is over, but the consequences are only beginning to unfold. What planners expected was a clean underground collapse. What happened next was something else. The initial blast did its job, but it did not end there. Inside the damaged structure, stored materials ignited in sequence. Pressure built faster than containment walls could handle. Instead of venting upward as designed, force escaped sideways, pushing into surrounding soil and foundations. Nearby buildings felt it first. Lower floors shook hard enough to crack support walls. Upper floors took the blast through shattered windows. Glass exploded inward. Furniture toppled. People were thrown from their beds without understanding why. Outside, debris began to fall. Heavy chunks of concrete landed in parking lots and streets. Cars were crushed. Fires started where fuel lines snapped. Smoke spread quickly, turning streetlights into dull orange halos. Emergency crews arriving on scene realized the situation was far worse than the first call suggested. This was not a single damaged building, it was an entire block affected at once. Some residents were trapped behind warped doors. Others were bleeding from cuts caused by flying glass. The sounds were constant. Sirens, shouting, alarms that would not stop. At command centers, a different confusion was unfolding. Radar logs showed nothing unusual. No aircraft tracks, no missile launches, no warning signatures. Analysts replayed the data again and again, searching for a clue that never appeared. That was the twist no one expected. The strike did not announce itself. It did not trigger defenses. It did not leave a clear trail. The damage was real, but the attacker was invisible. For the first time, the question was not how to respond, but who to respond to. By the time officials began to suspect what had happened, the aircraft was already far away. The moment to intercept had passed before anyone knew there was a threat. This was no longer just about the explosion. It was about the realization that a line had been crossed without resistance, and that future attacks might come the same way. As the smoke thickens, the full weight of the moment begins to settle in. Fire crews move carefully through broken streets, stepping over shattered glass and fallen concrete. Ambulances line up wherever space allows. Medics work under flashing lights, treating injuries on sidewalks because there is no room indoors. The smell of smoke and fuel hangs in the air. Inside damaged buildings, voices echo through stairwells. Some doors will not open. Some hallways are blocked. Rescuers shout names into the dark, listening for any answer. Every minute feels longer than it should. Every delay carries risk. Over city radio channels, the reports become more urgent. Multiple injuries, structural damage, fires still spreading. Commanders try to make sense of what they are seeing, but the information arrives faster than it can be organized. No one can yet explain how this happened without warning. At the same time, far from the chaos, a different scene is unfolding. In a quiet control room, screens show flight data scrolling steadily. The aircraft is already well clear of the area. Fuel levels are balanced. Systems remain normal. There was no interception, no pursuit. The most dangerous part of the mission is already over. A short radio message breaks the silence. Mission complete. No threats detected. Back on the ground, Venezuelan defense operators grow increasingly uneasy. Their systems are active, radars are scanning, communication lines are open. Yet they have nothing to track, no direction to point toward, no clear enemy to confront. The realization spreads quietly, but quickly. Whatever caused this did not come in the way they expected. This is the climax of the confrontation. Not an exchange of fire, but a moment of imbalance. One side acted with precision and disappeared. The other is left responding to damage without knowing how it was delivered. For the crews working in the streets, none of that matters. They focus on the next person pulled from debris, the next fire put out, the next life that might still be saved. Above them, the sky stays dark and empty. No aircraft, no sound. Just the aftermath of a strike that arrived without warning and ended before anyone could stop it. By the time the sky begins to lighten, the scale of what happened becomes impossible to ignore. The strike site is no longer a building. It is a wide crater filled with broken concrete and twisted metal. Nearby apartment blocks show torn walls and shattered windows, with exposed rooms still holding curtains, beds, and scattered belongings. Some residents stand outside in silence, wrapped in blankets, watching rescue crews move slowly through the debris as daylight reveals what the darkness hid. As morning unfolds, official statements begin to surface. Authorities confirm that the military target near Maracay was destroyed. Emergency services report civilian injuries and many people displaced from their homes. Hospitals remain on alert, bringing in extra staff. Roads around the area are closed, forcing long detours and adding to the sense that the city is moving out of rhythm with itself. Political reactions follow quickly. Venezuela condemns the strike, calling it reckless and illegal, and points to images of damaged residential buildings. The United States responds in careful language, stating that the operation hit a legitimate military site and that precautions were taken to reduce civilian harm. Each side delivers its message clearly, but neither can change what people experienced on the ground. Beyond the statements, the deeper impact begins to settle in. This operation showed that modern air defenses can be bypassed without warning. It showed that a single aircraft using precision instead of overwhelming force can change conditions before alarms even sound. For military planners, this raises urgent questions about readiness and deterrence. For civilians, it reinforces a harder truth. Conflict no longer stays far away. What happened near Maracay was not a prolonged battle. It was a demonstration, a signal delivered quietly in minutes, but felt for much longer. The damaged buildings will be repaired. Some families will return, others will not. The debates will continue, but one fact remains. The strike ended before defenders could react. And if that can happen once, it can happen again.